Well, this isn't the video that I had planned, but you know, sometimes in life we have to pivot.
Yes! Oh, here we go. Pivot! Pivot!
I really enjoy, sharing my life, my successes, some of the cool places like where I'm at right now, Hatley Castle. But I want to keep it real. I want to keep it real and also share some of the not so good times. The last couple of days, I've gone through it. I have gone through it. So that's why I decided to come here today, take an hour, go for a walk, and just clear my head, kind of soak in the beauty, and talk to you and share what I went through. See, the other day I took Bobby, my tiny home on wheels, in to get a couple things fixed. We needed a brake flush, and I was paying $150 to do the diagnosis because my van has a warranty. My odometer, my instrument cluster is not working. So about $350 total between that, the brake flush, and all the environmental fees, and this tax and that tax, and fee-fi, faux tax. But I was going to get it done, and I was feeling pretty good. But you know what? It turned out to be one of the hardest days I have had in a long time.
I beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose garden.
So if you watched my last video, I talked about how close I was to becoming debt-free, minus my van and one other bill. By the time August was done, all my personal loans would have been paid off, and I was so excited, so excited. And one thing I don't think I mentioned in that video about my debt and everything is I haven't really had an opportunity to get together a, big emergency fund. It wasn't until just, I think, a month or two ago where I was kind of just like actually stable. And I've been trying to put $10, $20 aside here and there, but it takes a while to build up an emergency fund, and it was just a baby one. But it was enough to go get this job done. I had to borrow a couple bucks, but nothing extreme. But like I said, the bill was $350, so okay, no problem. $350. We'll get it done. Bobby will be good. I'll have proper brakes. I'll have an odometer so I can see actually how many kilometers are on the stinking van, and everything's good to go. So first thing in the morning, I drop Bobby off. My friend picks me up from the mechanics, and off to Bible study we go. So just as I was heading out the door of the Bible study, which was really good, by the way, I got the phone call. So the lady basically said they couldn't replace or fix the cluster. So even though that part of my vehicle is under warranty, they no longer sell the parts for that. That part is no longer available to be purchased. I'm like, great, that's fine. Oh, and by the way, we couldn't finish the brake flush because you need both rear calipers replaced. And my heart literally dropped to the ground, and I kind of paused, and she says, so it's going to be approximately another $800 and some odd. And I went, no. She says, you don't want it to. She was kind of snippy, but not really. I don't know. I was like, my mind was twirling a million miles an hour. But she says, so you don't want us to do it? I said, no, I don't have an extra $800. it was everything I had to get this $350. And so she goes, you want us to put the band back together again? I'm like, yeah, put it back together. I'm on my way. So this was not the proudest moment I've had. So I get back to the dealership. A friend drops me off. And of course, I'm still upset. Still trying to process the whole process, whatever, however. Still trying to process the information. And I was kind of rude to the lady at the desk. And in my head, I couldn't justify the fact that I had paid them to do 2 jobs. Neither job was done, yet my bill was still as high as it was. And I basically just said, so I'm paying you guys all this money and nothing was done. And I was upset and I walked out. Well, I paid the bill and then I walked out. I got into my bed and this is, oh my gosh, I felt so bad. And I just broke down. I didn't know what to do. I felt so small. I was scared and I felt defeated. I just let the water fall out, and I just, let the emotions get out. And the poor lawn attendant was walking by and he could see me visibly, like, kind of, I was going to say crying, but like, let's be real, I was ugly crying. And he looked at me and then he starts walking and then he looks back. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just fine. I said, it's just a day. I'll be fine. And you could tell that the poor guy didn't know what to do. I felt so bad. Anyway, pulled myself together and left. Okay, so I left. I drove around, kind of got myself a little bit more composed and was weighing out my options, and I felt so bad. I felt so bad for the way I talked to that staff member that as soon as I could talk, I called her up and I said, listen, I am so sorry. You don't make the rules. You're just she's literally just the receptionist or whatever they are called at the dealership, maybe receptionist. And I said, I am so sorry for talking to you the way I did. I did not mean to be snippy. I was overwhelmed. I was kind of in shock. No excuse. And I honestly felt really bad. So afterwards, I felt better that I apologized. And she says she understood and she gets it. And while it may be understandable, it was certainly not okay to talk to anyone like that. Doing van life, gig work, these temporary jobs, these remote jobs, it does give me a sense of freedom. It gives me a real sense of freedom. But because everything is wrapped up in my van, my job, my home, everything, it also gives me moments of complete vulnerability. Why am I sharing this story? It's a vlog. It's my life. And whether you live in a van, you live in sticks and bricks, or wherever you're living, sometimes life can hit, and it can hit hard. Even in these tough times, the crazy times, the good thing is nowadays I learn from it and I continue to grow. Back in the day, 2, 3, 4 years ago, I would have never learned the lesson I'm learning right now. As long as there's growth and as long as there's learning, Things are all right. Things are good. This lifestyle, man, it is teaching me to be resilient, to take a deep breath when things happen, when things don't work out your way. Just take a deep breath. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the last couple days is, regardless of how tough the situation is and you don't know what you're going to do, is to hold on to my faith, because that is the only thing that's going to get me through these times. I don't know what I'm going to do. Don't really have $1,000 to get them fixed. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm still here. I'm still standing and I'm still rolling. Thanks for being here, listening to my story, sharing a beautiful walk at Hatley Castle. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and don't forget to make someone smile today.
Caliper retract farther than needed.